Greetings and welcome to Ghost Chat and Other Paranormal Things. I'm one of your hosts, Electric Elisa.
And I am your other host, Jody.
And I'm your other host, Robin.
We haven't been on in a while. We've had a lot of different things going on in our lives to take care of, and that happens. So we've also had a lot of, we have guests. We've rescheduled different times with them. So the upcoming guests that we still have Karen Rantowski coming up on June 16th. We'll be recording that one. We have Brenda from Kansas Paranormal Research Society. We'll be recording with her on the 9th. And then we have Chip.
We are going to have Chip on. He had to reschedule from today. He had a very bizarre, frightening experience that he'd like to share with us. So we will get him rescheduled as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we thought we'd read a letter from one of our favorite listeners. Her name is Laura Alexander. She's got a couple of experiences that she wrote to us about. The first beginning as my grandparents bought an antique rocking chair at a yard sale, and years later when I had my son and we went to my grandparents' house, from the time he could talk to about 6 years old, he would go into the bedroom where the chair was and have a full-on conversation with whoever was in the chair. There was nobody there, though. When he would come out of the bedroom, we asked him who he was talking to, and he would look at us and say, "Donna," like we should know. We don't know anyone named Donna. Then quite a few years later, around Christmas, my mom got the mail out of the locked mailbox, went grocery shopping, and when she came home, there was an envelope on our coffee table that wasn't there before she left. She lives alone. And when she opened it, there was a Christmas card in there, and it was signed Donna in handwriting that she and nobody else in the family recognized. So that's her first story, which is quite interesting and pretty scary.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
Wow. Children have a really open mind, and they're so innocent that I think they're open to that kind of thing. And piggybacking on, go ahead.
I was just going to say, everything I've ever heard is that children and animals are so much more receptive to things that we as adults do not pick up. And I've seen a lot of videos and things where children are looking at things and responding to things, waving at things that we can't see. So when I hear stories like this, that really interests me, because I think they really are having an experience that is real to them. It's probably very real.
Yeah, I think it is probably to them. They don't know that, one way or the other. Piggybacking off of that, when I was I'm still talking for Laura. This isn't me. Laura said when I was a baby toddler, we lived in an old house, and my mom said that she could hear footsteps in the attic, like someone in cowboy boots was shuffling across the floor. It wasn't animals or tree branches or anything like that, because she had that all checked out. There was a rocking chair in our playroom upstairs that would rock by itself, and our cat would go upstairs. It would stay in the bottom of the stairs, staring up at the stairs and hissing, growling, and spitting at something that wasn't there. My father was a truck driver, so he wasn't home much. She talked to the landlord, who said that the house was in his family for a long time, and it used to be a stagecoach stop a long time ago, and there had been many fights down there with some deaths involved. After that, my mom found an apartment and moved us somewhere else. I wouldn't have known any of that, but when I was a teenager, we had a bentwood rocker, and I would lay on the floor and rock it with my foot, but always get yelled at by my mom. So she finally told me why it bothered her so much. See, that's a freaky cat story that, just like what you were just saying about cats having some kind of sensory perception too.
I've heard that cats are, I'm just going to throw this out there, cats are like a doorway to the spiritual world. I've heard that many times, and I've kind of pondered that. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've also heard that they're like protectors.
Yeah.
They're also healers. I've seen many stories where when someone's really sick, they'll get on that person and go into some kind of a catatonic thing, and they don't want to be touched or removed. They'll purr because they're doing their healing thing.
Like a trance, kind of like,
Yeah, that they're working on the person. They're trying to help them heal, and some people swear that it works.
Purring just automatically makes me feel better anyway. Whenever my cat purrs, it's very therapeutic, and I don't even think he realizes how good it's doing.
Well,
But
the thing that they do know is that they can lower blood pressure.
yeah,
Oh wow.
It's the purring, I think.
absolutely, because they're happy when they're purring, and that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. And
Well, moving
then,
on with Laura's accounts, Laura said, when I was in my early 20s, my boyfriend and I moved to a house in the country. There was an old stone garage next to the house with an upstairs, and I went up the stairs, and my hair and my arms stood up, and I got a really bad feeling, so I didn't stay up there long. A little while after that, my friend was visiting, and we were on the front porch talking until both of us had a weird feeling and looked over at the garage. And in the upstairs window, there was a woman with a wrap around her head and a grayish shirt looking back at us. A few years later, I worked with the guy across the street, and we started talking about the area we lived in. And his house was a plantation-style house with tunnels in the basement, and all the land around there, including where my house was at, was their land. The stone garage used to be a barn, but it caught on fire, and all they could save was the stone bottom, so they made it into a garage. His brother did the history of the house, and that's how he found out what he told me. He used to see lights in the garage when nobody was there and would hear voices calling his name when no one was home. The tunnels were there for Underground Railroad because the area we lived in was so close to Canada, and we found out there were a lot of tunnels in the area that had, or a lot of houses, in the area that had tunnels. That's creepy.
yeah,
Wow.
like why was their name being called?
Exactly.
It's like, what were they trying to lure you down in the tunnel and you couldn't get out? But why?
Yeah, I wonder.
See, I've had similar experiences when it's attached to a place like that.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with my
Mhm.
niece out in Platte City, Missouri, and she lived in a house that was built in like 1865. I think I had previously mentioned this because there was a
Mm-hmm.
cistern under the house that was like endless. We had paranormal investigators come in and spend the night, and they took a camera and dumped it down into this cistern, and they couldn't get to the bottom. So they went to their truck. They got more, what do you call that? Another extension cord. They wired it up, taped it up, dropped it. They still never found the bottom. But then what was so weird about this house was there was something that was attached to the house, kind of like what you're talking about, Jody. And
Mhm.
so it begs the question, if spirits get attached to one place, or is it energy that's left there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes you wonder. Well,
I think
thank you, Laura Alexander. We appreciate your story.
Yeah.
If stories, if anyone has any more stories to send us along, anything interesting has happened to you, please don't hesitate. The Spooky Sisters 666 at gmail.com is where you can
Yeah.
send them.
And don't forget
absolutely.
the
Don't
because
what?
don't forget the before
The
Spooky Sisters,
the Spooky
because I think I know some other people have said they sent them, but we didn't get them. So
Yeah.
just
The
recheck where you're sending it.
Yep. The Spooky Sisters 666 at gmail. We do appreciate that. We love to read your stories. We'll read them on the air, or we'll have you on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Figure something out.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Have,
And
have you
I'm
guys?
wondering, does does your family still have this house, Laura?
I wonder if she does.
Yeah.
I was going to say, any other questions for Laura? She can give us a nice follow up about the house.
That would be my question too. What happened to that land? What happened to that particular property? And has she followed up on that beyond if she's still there, family owns it, whatever, or if she knows anything more about it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my cat is just
We've got a little
having.
visitor in the studio today.
Yeah.
Well, how about us, guys? Have we had any experiences? I'll go first.
Go for it.
Okay.
Um, my mom, well, it's very boring, short, but my mom saw a shadow person in the kitchen. Now, we have this weird kind of Bermuda Triangle in our house where
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
between the kitchen, the bathroom, and the dining room, it's like a triangle. We see shadows or hear things or weird things fall off the shelf.
Hmm.
But yeah, mom saw a shadow person in the kitchen, which she's convinced is probably her mother or her sister because they spent a lot of time in the kitchen while they were around. So possibility, I
That's
suppose.
interesting.
Yeah,
Does it ever startle you, or are you kind of just more like used to it?
it startles me a little bit when I see something or when I hear something fall off the shelf or I'm sitting on the couch and I see a shadow. I'm like, but there's no one there. You know, mom and Leroy are either not home or they're tucked away into bed, you know, and I'm like, what the? And Einstein, my cat, is with me.
See,
So it startles me a little bit, but I kind of ignore it.
that's interesting to me because when I first moved into this house, I had experiences with shadow people. I was cleaning in the bathroom one day, and I swear that my roommate walked in. He's about 6'1", and he's about
Wow.
200 pounds. And I saw something approach. You know, you have that peripheral, but you're not really using the peripheral, but you know something's there. And I turned to look, and whatever it was shot around the corner. And I kind of
Ooh.
freaked at first because I thought, and I called his name and I walked around. Whatever it was did not have time by the time I moved around the corner to escape that fast, unless it was
Right.
paranormal. So I knew that there was
Wow.
something, but you know, this happened a lot when I first moved in, and I had people come into the house that would say, you know, there's a little boy here. You know, I told you about my
Mm-hmm.
experience of being asleep and hearing laughter in the house and different things like that. But after I had lived here for a while, it all kind of went away. I don't know if it was just a spirit here or a ghost that was, you know, curious about me because I was new in the house. And
Yeah.
now they're not. They're comfortable with me. So that's why I was asking you if you know, got startled, if it's something new or
It's been going on for a while now.
wow.
Yeah.
We've had like the fan turn on by itself. We had a book just almost fly off of the bookshelf right in mom's path.
That's
Just
that's
really
that's
weird.
kind of scary because when I hear about stuff like that, that's not the kind. What I've heard, because I stayed in a house that was haunted, very haunted, a
Mhm.
few years back out in Moore, Oklahoma, with my distant family. There was something definitely there. Now, they had just lost a family member, and I was staying in the room of the family member that was lost. But when things like that would happen, something abrupt, like I was leaving one day and I heard something, I thought I was alone in the house, and I had the main door, the big door leading out of the house in my hand. And I looked back and I hollered out for my nieces and nephews. Nobody answered. So I went to shut the door. And just about the time I got it click shut, it slammed back open.
Oh wow. That
So
would scare the crap.
I talked to somebody that I know about that kind of stuff, and they said, "Whoa, that is a malevolent. How do you say that? Malevolent spirit."
Yeah.
And what they're doing is that is a show of power. When something flies off the shelf or a door gets slammed harshly or something like that, that's something that's not good. It's malevolent, and it's a show of power.
Hmm. That's spooky.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would take it that way as well because I mean, why would I mean that somebody could actually get hurt?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I had that same experience here with something flying off the shelf right by my head, and it hit the wall and
Lord.
slid down. And, you know, that was the day I had been kind of unnerved by the door slamming and stuff, but that was the first day that I ever got a little bit angry, and I shouted at it and told it needed to go. And I used all kinds of flowery speech,
Yeah.
but that was also the day that it did go. Plus, I saged the house off and
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Um, one thing I haven't really had anything happen recently myself, um, or I've just been too busy or tired or whatever. But
Yeah.
the one thing that I didn't bring up, I didn't have the chance to really to bring up the last recording we did was when um, the weird things that were going on with my phone um, in like the it would stop playing um, when I was listening to the podcast, the one before it, you know, with the
Hmm.
stories.
Hmm.
And at one point, I didn't even have that on. I'd been listening to music or other podcasts or something, and it just all of a sudden randomly went back to it.
Wow.
And I was
That,
like, I
that's
already
very
listened to
freaky.
this.
That is very freaky.
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, I actually took a break from actually listening to it for a while because I needed to go through the other half to see if there was any other EVPs. And so I haven't actually gone back to that. Nor have I think I got the pictures together that from the house in Florida, but I haven't yet like done anything to upload them yet.
Yeah.
I think they must be on my computer, which I don't get on very much. So eventually we'll have those uploaded to YouTube, but
Nice.
we're still wondering if anybody else who listened to it has heard any EVPs.
Yeah.
Excuse
Which
me.
I'm trying to remember what that particular one's called again.
Tale of Two Hauntings.
Thank you. If anyone, has listened to A Tale of Two Hauntings or episode, if they hear any EVPs or anything odd that doesn't sound like it belongs, please let
Right.
us know. We haven't heard from anyone, so we're not sure.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
heard
'cause
some things ourselves.
there's such a thing as people who are more in tune to seeing things,
Mhm.
and then there's some people that are more in tune to audio.
Mm-hmm.
Myself personally, I'm more in tune to audio. And I've lived in a
I am
Mhm.
place
too.
out in Washington State where every night when I went to sleep, I would hear things. It sounded like there was footsteps and people talking, and I'm like, what in the heck? The second I flipped the light on and got up and focused, it would stop. But my roommate at the time could not hear it, and he thought I was crazy, but it was an audio thing. Now, he was more
Yeah.
in tune to the visionary thing, and he would see things that I wouldn't. But this was a place that was in an ancient forest in Washington State, which a lot of people said, you guys are crazy for living out there because these forests are so old and there's lots of stuff out
Mhm.
here. And we lived in a 90-foot modular home that was right in the middle. But I was experiencing the audio. He was experiencing the visual.
Well, that's interesting. I think
Yeah.
I'm more audio as well.
I'm more audio. Yeah. I told
Yeah.
you
I don't
about
know.
the experience my roommate had in this house where he was taking a nap and I was in Kansas and he heard a woman's voice say, I guess I'll go now. And he opened his
Oh,
eyes because he thought it was me. Then it dawned on him after he was awake. Robin's in Kansas. But he said it was
yeah.
crystal clear, like somebody was right there beside him within a few inches saying, I think I'll go now. And it was so startling that he actually woke up. He was fully awake and wondering who the heck was that? Because when you hear something like that and you wake up real quick, and there's nothing there, you know something just happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Wow. Especially when you're sleeping, I think you're pretty. I have really weird experiences when I'm sleeping, like visitors. I think your mind, is like a child, is more open to that kind of thing too. It could be just dreams, but
Well,
sometimes I feel like
I've always heard that, and maybe this is more Native American, but I'm Native American, but we've been taught that if you're going to have any kind of connection with the spiritual world, it's going to happen in your sleep.
Mm.
And that could be true for other ethnicities or other people that are listening, I'd love to hear about that too.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I just watched something. It's from another podcast, and they were talking about that kind of thing. Um, and it's a YouTube one, but excuse me. They were talking about the CIA and their experiments as well, but um, and the dreams are like where you're open.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, receptive.
Mm-hmm. I believe there's something to that. Honestly, we should talk about that sometime in a podcast.
Yeah, or when you're traveling. I mean, I know you dreamt about flying or being in other places, or I think that maybe it's in there's in some way you are traveling, astral projection or something like that
Mm-hmm.
when you're sleeping.
I believe that. I believe that there's a possibility in our subconscious state when our bodies are shut down because now we're just, subconscious. We're just, energy. We're just spirit. I think that there's a possibility we could link in, or something that's around could link into us.
Right.
I don't know if that
I
makes
think
sense,
so.
We may
but
not want it to link in.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's some time. Yeah. There's
Please
some
don't plug
visitors.
into this portal.
I
Yeah.
had a very disturbing dream last night myself. I dreamt of my daughter that I haven't seen in a couple of years. And actually, I dreamed that we were in her funeral procession. She had died.
Oh no.
And that really
Wow.
bothered me. But it was weird because they were doing the funeral procession. I was standing on the street watching this go by, and there was a flatbed truck with a big, like almost like a parade. And she stepped down off of it and ran over there and hugged me. And we talked for a minute. I mean, we hugged for a long time. And then um, she said something to me. I don't recall. And I said something about, when I get to the other side, I will find you. And she said, I'll be looking for you. And, there was other things said, but I woke up just kind of disturbed. I'm like, why would I dream something like that?
Well, dreams, really, death dreams don't really mean death. Usually it means change, some kind of change.
Yeah. They always say that the
Hopefully,
dreams are opposite. If it's bad, then it's good.
right. Yeah, a lot of times that's true. So I wouldn't worry about that being literal or anything, but it could mean hopefully a good change.
Yeah. I haven't had any weird dreams for sure, because dreams are always kind of weird.
Yeah.
But nothing really scary, nothing that seemed like it was paranormal or anything.
Or foreboding.
Right.
Well, as for me, I have not had any kind of experience recently. The thing I had in the bedroom where the lights would kind of flicker on and off when the light was off has not happened again. It was really weird when it did, though, because I was laying in a dark bedroom on the bed, looking up at the ceiling. I just happened to catch it because it's one of those light fixtures like that one. Well, not like that one. It's like there's 6 lights around it. But one of the bulbs would come on, not even like you had the light on, it would just glow and then come back off. And then glow and come back off. And I'm like, that is really weird. I just took it that it was an electrical thing, but I thought, why wouldn't all of them be doing it?
Yeah.
Well, and kind of, if it's an electrical thing, that's more disturbing.
Tell me about it.
It's like, I hope it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those things. It's like, you don't want it to be electrical.
No, you don't want electrical problems.
But everything's been quiet here. I guess I really haven't been that tuned into stuff. I've really been sleeping good, so.
Good.
Other
than just some physical things, nothing's been going on. I don't know. People are talking about, people are still talking about the eclipse. Now there's talk about solar flares.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are saying that time seems like it's sped up for them. I've been dizzy. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I don't think time for me is sped up in particular. People are saying that they feel extra cranky. I don't know. Since some solar flare going on, I haven't noticed that.
At the end of the month, and I'll have to look the dates up again, but I heard this about a week ago, and the newscaster said within 3 weeks, which would be the end of this month, early June, there's going to be a lot of solar flares, and there's a chance we'll see the northern lights again in the Midwest.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I didn't go out, but I heard California, some people saw them as well. So that's pretty cool. My friend in Ottawa took pictures. They were amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Just surreal.
My mom said they went outside, and that was in Kansas, but they didn't really see anything, but they were saying that it's more visible to the camera than it is to the naked eye.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, the weatherman here said if you really want to see it and you're not seeing it with the naked eye, go out to a dark area and put your camera on slow-mo and film for, a few seconds, and then you'll see it.
Nice. Well, we'll have to watch out for that.
My thinking is, and you may disagree or you may agree, we kind of, in some ways, just because of how things fell, we haven't been on here in a while. We haven't talked even about the last podcast or or anything, and I don't think any of us like did anything related to it at all, and that may be why things calmed down.
Could be. I've thought about it a little bit, but I haven't really spoken out loud regarding
Yeah, be
the
quiet.
last
Don't
one.
say it out loud.
Don't speak it.
They might hear you.
They
Whoever they
may
are.
be listening.
You never know. They can get through the technology.
And
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
that's one thing I'd like to just put out there, that, I like to hear about people's experiences, but I want to know if people are deeming this as paranormal or spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a difference. Some people say paranormal, spiritual, whatever. I mean, because there's so many people out there that deem it spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Some people deem it paranormal, or both. And, whatever it is, chime in and let us know what has happened and why you feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Drop us a line, or we are on Facebook. What are we under? I have to actually think about this now. We have a Facebook page. Facebook. I'm going to start a
Old
new.
school.
I'm going to start a new social media called Spacebook.
I like that.
We have a Facebook page called Paranormal Experiences and Other Things podcast, I think.
No, it's you put it the same as like the regular page that I've had up there.
Okay.
That's been there for a while, but you put it's Ghost Chat and Other Paranormal Things podcast.
There we go.
There we
Chat
go.
Another other paranormal things podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have experiences, if you don't want to email us, just drop them in there,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll read
Absolutely.
them on the show. We'll read them on the show,
We
or we'll
know
have
there's
you on.
more people out there who have experienced things.
Oh, I'm sure. We want to hear about them.
Probably more involved than what I certainly have.
Yeah.
And you guys, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want
There's
to
a lot of stories out there we want to hear.
Absolutely. I'd like to hear people's experiences and stories and things that we can take a look at.
Or if they have any questions for us as well. If you guys have some questions, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to answer them for you.
Yeah. And
well,
then
girls.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't think of anything else that's happened to me paranormally.
No. So,
all right.
Until next time.
We've got a short one today, but we will watch our Facebook page, our Spacebook page, and we'll have some announcements. We'll have some announcements coming up. And be sure and, like and follow.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, absolutely.
We are on Spotify, Amazon Music, and
YouTube. We're all over the place, literally.
Okay,
all right, girls. This was fun. Love you lots.
Love you guys.
Until next time.
Until next time.
All right.